Okay, good morning, grade 8. We are now in the topic slope of a line. So by now, I hope you have read your lesson. So before we answer the exercises in your book, let us take note of the different important things about slope that you need to remember. Okay? Remember if your slope is positive. Okay? If the slope is positive, your line is rising to the right. Or we call it increasing. Okay, remember that. Okay? If the slope is positive, it is rising to the right. The line is rising to the right or increasing. Okay? If your slope is negative, can you recall? If your slope is negative, so your line, what is the direction of your line? It's rising to the left. Okay, rising to the left or falling to the right, but I would rather use the word rising to the left. Okay, and your line or equation is decreasing. Okay, it's decreasing. Next, what if your line is, what if your slope is 0? What is the direction of your line without graphing? Okay, what is the direction of your line? It is horizontal. Okay, and lastly, if after solving, given 2 points, solving and finding the slope, your answer is like this, 1 over 0, or your denominator is 0, remember your final answer would be undefined. Oops, sorry. Okay, so it's undefined. So if your slope is undefined, what is the direction of your line? It is vertical, standing. Okay, so remember this 4. So if the slope is positive, your line, the direction of your line is rising to the right, or it is increasing. And if your slope is negative, your line is rising to the left, or it is decreasing. And if your slope is 0, your line is horizontal. The direction of your line is horizontal. Whereas if your slope is undefined, your line is vertical. Okay? Okay, let us now continue. So in your book on page 151, try this on top. Okay, it says there that you are to find the slope of a line that passes through these given 2 points. Okay, these 2 given points. Remember the meaning of slope, or no, before that, remember the symbol of slope, it's m. And the meaning of slope is, or in formula, it's rise over run. Right? Remember this because we need this concept in graphing later on, okay? In our future lesson. But for now, we don't need this kind of formula or another, we call it delta y over delta x, change in y over change in x. And this change in y is also has a formula y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over the change in x is x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Okay? So, remember that your slope is the steepness of your line. So, or the rise over run, the change in y or delta y over delta x, or in thorough formula, y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Means can we interchange the sub 1s? It's fine as long as you are consistent. If your formula is like this, y sub 1 minus y sub 2 over x sub 1 minus x sub 2 is perfectly fine. It will give you the same result. Okay? As long as you are consistent. You, what do you call this? You did the y sub 1 first, then you will do the x sub 1 first here in the denominator. But you cannot and can never interchange the numerator with the denominator. Alright? So using this formula, let's now find our slope. So remember the symbol of slope. It's small letter m. So slope is equal to, so y sub 2. Here, please don't be confused, okay? Don't get confused. So x first, followed by y, x, y. Okay? X coordinate, y coordinate, x coordinate, y coordinate. X sub 1 y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. Others, I noticed, some students would do this. X sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. Is that okay? It's fine. If it makes you, if it gives you an easy way to solve, and to prevent confusion, you can do this. Okay? Now let's do the y sub 2 first. 2 minus 3 over x sub 2, negative 1 minus x sub 1, which is 2. Okay? So sub 2, sub 1, x sub 2, x sub 1. Alright? So m is now equal to 2 minus 3 will give you negative 1. Negative 1, negative 2 will give you negative 3. So see, your slope, the numerator and denominator are both positive. So to simplify, your slope is positive 1/3. Alright? And without graphing, can you tell now the direction of your line? Yes, your line is rising to the right. Okay, because it's positive without graphing. Now I will show you if I will do the sub 1 first. Okay, here maybe. Here, let's try the method B, method A. Okay, so I usually do this first. Okay, 3 minus 2 will over 2 minus negative 1. Be careful with the sign. 2 minus negative 1. Don't leave it out because it's negative. There is minus in between. So the sign changes, so that becomes positive. So your slope now is 3 minus 1 is 1. 3 minus 2 is 1 rather. And 2 plus 1 will give you 3. And automatic it's positive. See? You will yield the same result. Okay? Same result, different methods. It's fine really. As long as, remember, to be consistent. If you do the sub 1 first, in the denominator, you should do the sub 1 first also. Okay? There you go.